Road damage from the overflowing Great Lakes and other waterways may carry a whopping price tag for Michigan.
The State Department of Transportation is now saying about 40 locations have been hit especially hard and that long-term repairs could reach $100 million. Right now, the lakes are at or near record levels and tearing up property, flooding parks, and eroding beaches.
Michigan is the Great Lakes state with almost 3,300 miles of coastline along the lakes.
Dave Rexroth tells us how long this destruction is going to stick around and if there is anything we can do to stop it.
We came down in the morning, it was all gone. I had hopes that the water was going down, and I kept sort of praying and saying it's going to go down. And when I came down and saw that it did this overnight, I thought, Jill, you need to just stop.
But you can bet that Jill won't stop. There's too much at stake. Jill Laidlaw runs Camp Cavell along Lake Huron in Sanilac County. She helps people who need a little more attention, just like the lakeshore in her camp needs now. The lake that has made the camp such a special place is now undermining Jill's mission.
My house is 4 feet from the edge. If another 25 feet go, that's the whole house.
Of course, Jill isn't the only one in trouble. All of the Great Lakes, and Lake St. Clair too, are pushing record high levels, turning our most prized resource into natural destroyers.
I've been forecasting here in southeast Michigan for 20 years, and it's just this last year when it's become a major problem. The lake levels, the water levels, and the wave action.
In 2019, there were 63 advisories and warnings for lakeshore erosion and flooding along the Great Lakes in southeast Michigan. In the decade before that, there were only a handful. So why the sudden change? Deanna Apps from the Army Corps of Engineers says it's pretty simple.
During the fall of 2018, we saw a good amount of precipitation that saturated soils. And then, we had a decent snowpack last year that come spring when we had those warmer temperatures. We saw increased runoff and increased precipitation, which led to those rapid rises on the Great Lakes.
And there is not much good news going forward.
In our forecast, we're projecting water levels to remain high over the next 6 months at near or above records.
That puts us into midsummer, still dealing with record high water. Even if water drops at that point, it'll take many more months to get back to normal levels. So is there anything that can be done to help? Building seawalls, filling in erosion, moving buildings, that'll help, but at a very high cost. And even then, there are no guarantees. It's simply a fight that nature is winning. Fred Camp has lived his entire life along Lake Huron and says this is as bad as it gets.
We've lost 50 feet of beach, 60 feet of beach just in the last 2 years.
And it is a helpless feeling knowing that we'll lose more.
I had hopes that the water was going down.
And even though eventually it will subside, Jill can't wait that long. And so she keeps fighting against the odds.
We'll do a few things that we can, but yeah, we're just going to have to live with it and find friends and people to help.
It is tough when you try to do everything you can and you have to fight Mother Nature. Just this last month, we got a report that the Lake Huron Basin is up 3 inches higher than last year in January and was near record levels there. So it's going to be a tough go for a long time here to fight this fight. Falling in water and continuing to go up. It's going to be a battle here for quite a while. Last week, though, maybe a little help here. The legislature put in a flooding and erosion control task force, which means hopefully they're going to try and find some solutions with communities having all these problems all around Michigan, and maybe you can get a little bit of help in terms of finances for this. I talked with the Army Corps of Engineer people, and they said they can't give out money, but if they get the task force going in there, and you talked about the amount of money going into the roads, maybe this will be going to property owners, homeowners, because once it's gone, you never get it back in terms of the erosion and the problems there, so it's going to be tough.
It's so frightening to watch, too.
And it happens fast. We get these storms, especially in the wintertime, and it can go, as you heard there, feet and feet and feet in one night.
And it's our Great Lakes state. It's our natural resource, but the power, again, of Mother Nature.
Yeah, and the power of water is absolutely amazing.